30 years is a long time for hard work never to be rewarded. And what was my cause? I was trying to rescue people. I was trying to warn my peers of what I had discovered. 30 years ago, I reported Gail Burston, a graduate of Bryn Mawr, whose name was a homophone for Christian Armageddonism, for her script about the AIDS attack. And she got away. She was never arrested. I worked every single day since trying to secure her arrest, and I failed because she was being protected by the Jeffin Corporation, by Obama, by Clinton. And the most important protection she had was her partner, Rosine Montaglione. Who was Rosine? She led me to a destroyed, thoroughly impoverished, utterly lonely life, protecting the people who had deafened me as a child and tortured me as a child. Her name was an encryption for Rosine, which is where Václav Havel was from. They poisoned me in the mouth, and they gave me Parkinson's. They gave my eyes glaucoma. They drove me into homelessness, where I lay on the sidewalk, vomiting from trauma in neuroplastic head wound that she detonated from an implant from neurobehavioral research and William Wademaker, whose father was an Connecticut State Prison psychiatrist, who Pitt allowed to use me as a lab rat. They murdered my father. Who was Rosa? Rosa was a combination of people's statements for Paul McCartney and Yoko Ono in an insidious vendetta called Two Virgins Pussy Ball. She came from Milan, Italy, because so does the First Lady of the Trump family. So she represented Donald Trump. She represented the Green Party, Rosa Clemente. She was part of the script pattern because she was the first girl to come along to offer me her virginity. She represented Oprah Winfrey and Paul McCartney. She represented a whole host of people who are responsible for the rise of Donald Trump. She represented the Palestinian women in their intellectual circuits at places like Temple University. All of them worked together to cover for the AIDS attack, the monstrosity of Gail Burston. Paul McCartney evoked Leslie Katz as his justification. Leslie was uninjured. She was totally unharmed. She was spotless, as the Geigers would say. After dating me for 2 years, she was still a virgin. And that inflamed the hatred of King Crimson towards me. They worked with someone named Matt Marcus, another name which is a signifier from their index of Auschwitz and Treblinka. Marcus. Marcus burned 2 girls' arms gangrenous with a hot poker from a fireplace. He said it was to bring them back to reality. He was an Israeli American, like Leslie Katz was. Leslie Katz, like Israel Katz, was Bush's line in the sand towards his hated rival, Crary, who they murdered. They put a bat in his bed. How theatrical. They never saved one single life. Paul McCartney controls the NAACP the way Oprah does, with what they called the metal that drives the white man crazy among the Native Americans. He convinced them they could get their share of the thieving in honest man's artwork. And Obama stalks me with the threat of further poisoning. They poisoned me in the mouth. My gums are mortified. They gave me Parkinson's. Duvall said, I know Bush started AIDS, and I support him for it. He was representative of the NAACP. But by driving people crazy with the idea that they should be allowed to steal my artwork and sell them for fortunes in history, they con the queers to take away a man's rights and liberties. And I find that the Russians were here and left signifiers of their involvement in what Gail Burstyn did. Putin is one of the reasons why she was never arrested. The Texas School Book was a partnership between the CIA and the KGB, tracing back to Dealey Plaza. I always wondered why the Kings, Dexter King, seeing that an innocent deaf man had been written into the script, didn't help me. They set up instead a quarantine against my efforts, and they said that, let's see you be nonviolent in the threat of HIV injection. And they poisoned me in the mouth. This was Seattle, and Jay Inslee and Bob Ferguson did to a deaf man. And they justified it, they said, because I was white. Nobody who was white ever came to my rescue, any more than anybody who black was ever did. Black people knew, and they did nothing to save anyone. But since they have a group think, we're black, we stick together, they managed to convince Oprah, I guess, managed to convince people to poison me in the food because I'm white. And Paul McCartney and Yoko Ono got away with doing this too, because they're in a position with Elon Musk of having millions and millions of dollars that they can use to bribe people and to blackmail them into hurting the very poor. And they make up this story that I'm out to get money. I worked for 30 years. If I lose my teeth, I'm going to need something to get dental. I'm going to need dentures or an implant. These people are criminally insane. They believe in robbing somebody who they contracted for sex on. The Negro community had a nudity film making hit team working on me in pornographic genocide, working with Yoko Ono. This wasn't about black people. Don't be fooled. This was never about black people. This was about Japanese people. This was about Yoko Ono getting revenge for World War II. This was about Aaron Dixon helping her by his willingness to terrorize somebody who came to Seattle after being promised protection from abuse. Rosa was with Trump and Rosa Clemente. That only represents one thing: domination, the Jeffin Corporation, Israel, Obama, and Bill Clinton. Peter Gabriel was the one who organized this. Since when is Peter Gabriel a black man? He wrote one song about Biko. And they make him a warrior king for the Third Reich, for the Fourth Reich. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and they don't even present that it makes any sense. I've been a lonely, destitute, frightened man for 50 years of my life because of the way these people attacked me. It doesn't make any sense at all. What sense could it possibly make? They generate hatred from every rank and file. They come up with mercenaries from El Salvador like Bill Wheeler. He has quite a story to tell about what he pulled. And they come after me from Obama's Afghan military and from the Vietnam veterans. I was 11 years old when they poached me. And the administration stands for it. What does Phi Theta Kappa even mean? You can be in an honor society and they stand for this. What does Gallaudet University of the Deaf even mean? What does the University of Pittsburgh even mean? They let them kill my father, senior faculty. What do these people even stand for? They don't stand for anything. They burned LA burned to the ground, and these people were jumping and hollering about their elite purses and their pretty clothes. I didn't do anything to hurt them. I never hated them. I never tried to steal from them. I never tried to take their names. It's an outrage.